on his left, Jess on his right. Hey, hold up, don't start a fight. He's got you covered with all the sports. Don't fret, he's wearing shorts. It's time for Waking Jake in the morning, Waking Jake at night. Jake sucks.
Woo! Good morning, Bakers. What a Monday it is to be a sports fan. NFL Week 18 did not disappoint when it really should have. It should not have that much juice. Papito Gordito, I had a little bit of a bad read on it, but that's because of the Colts, Jags. I'm here with King BBD, and it's been a while since we've done Game of the Night. I think not going to do Game of the Night, although there was kind of a Game of the Night. I think I'm just going to do a quick cron pod of things that mattered yesterday. One of the better NFL Sundays, kind of out of nowhere, because you got so many games that didn't matter, but the games that did matter, the chat, oh, it's hot. It should be. Sports, hot in the street. It started at 1 p.m., the Colts-Jaguars game that shouldn't have been anything. I told you guys, and I placed a bet. I placed a pretty bad bet. Colts minus 28. I juiced up the odds because I was like, you know what? The Jags just lost by 40. This has been one of the biggest losses of a season for a team in NFL history. Urban Meyer, all of it. The Colts, a team that scared people a couple weeks ago as a team nobody wanted to play. Most Pro Bowlers in the NFL. And here we are. The Jags. Trevor Lawrence looked good. Not like trick plays like the Lions game yesterday, where they were running a trick play every series, which, by the way, awesome. More of that. Pump it. The Colts, it's go time. They got to turn it on if they want to win this game. And then the Carson Wentz interception festival starts happening. What a disaster. Our QB rankings, by the way, I keep teasing it and joking about it. I wrote out my first list of QB rankings. We'll probably release that sometime this playoff, probably the week between the Super Bowl. By the way, Bobby Skinner, Thursday. We're going to drink some tears on our preseason NFL predictions, and then we'll do some playoff predictions. That'll be Thursday. But for now, we're reliving yesterday. The Jaguars, it happens. It's done. 26-11. The chaos can ensue, and that means Steelers-Ravens. Steelers-Ravens, this game out of nowhere matters. Matters. Steelers-Ravens, Big Ben, Tyler Huntley. Lamar's been out. Ravens had lost 5 in a row coming into this game. If they had just won one more game, what are we talking about right now? Goes into overtime. Big Ben with the drive to bring it there. Justin Tucker makes a field goal, and that's obvious. Big Ben brings him down the field in OT. He should get one last hurrah unless we get Tygate. But before Tygate, NFC action, stuff that mattered but didn't matter but mattered. Saints beat up on the Falcons, and if the Niners lose, they're out of the playoffs. Everyone's Niners downloaded Madden over the weekend. Played with the Niners because I like their roster a little bit. Although I've kind of been a Niners hater this year. They are down 17-3 to the Rams. This game means something to the Rams. McVay's never lost with a lead up at the half. He's never beat, I want to call him McClanahan. That's the reliever for the Rays. Shanahan. Baseball on the brain. They're locked out. We're talking football, people. The Niners, Jimmy G, they come back. They win in overtime, 27-24. The Niners are in the playoffs. Your Saints are out. Dolphins beat the Patriots. Didn't really matter. Matters today when we're firing coaches and just twist the knife on the Patriots when I can. Cardinals, you guys are suck bags. Buccaneers roll. The night game, tie game, the tie bowl. Chargers, Raiders. Raiders, good juice in the stadium. They're honoring John Madden. They did the lights thing before the game. That's always fun. Raiders got a little bit of a lead, 15 points. Here come the Chargers. I love me some Justin Herbert. You saw why, because he can drop back every play and lead his team. Some of the fourth downs, I think they converted 6 fourth downs, 7. Insanity. They're going to OT. And just like that, we had all forgotten about the tie game. And then the tie game is back. Collinsworth is grinning like a fool. Michaels is in the booth looking like Collinsworth. I think they told us to not talk about this, but we have to talk about this. Field goal. Field goal. Not a lot of time on the clock. Raiders are driving, but are they? They're just out of field goal range, 3rd down. Chargers call a timeout at the end of the play clock, not the start of the play clock. Has the trust been broken? It was. Raiders get a 1st down. They are in field goal range. They milk the clock down. Carlson, the kicker, who hasn't missed in that stadium. Real fun fact. A fun fact that can go either way for you. He sends 2 teams to the playoffs with 1 kick. Chargers are out. Raiders are in. Steelers are in. Who picked them before the season to get into the playoffs? And everyone yelled at me. Because organizations matter. And we'll talk about more of that in a minute. Raiders win 35-32. Pure chaos to end the NFL day. BBD's tie doesn't happen. But what did happen over the weekend, DraftKings Sportsbook is now legal in New York. That's not in the read, but I'll tell you what. Dad was placing bets. Placed a pretty good winner at the end of the day to save it yesterday. How about Eckler to score, Renfro to score in the over? Whoops. Single game parlay. That was plus 450, 20 to win 110 in my bank account. My buddy Cam told me to bet it. I did. Me and Cam got paid and got laid. And guess what? DraftKings is giving you 56 to 1 odds on any wild card game. $5 to win $200 in free bets. That's right. $5 on any playoff game. And you get $200. Oh, new customers an additional $280. I didn't even do the math right. It's not a math pod. It's never been. A sportsbook isn't available where you are from. Move to New York, I guess. Or they have their daily fantasy prizes, win up to $1 million. They're giving away millions of dollars there. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code JOMBOY. Get 56 to 1 odds on any NFL team to win their wild card game. $5 to win $280. Am I still doing the math wrong? I think I got that one. It's promo code JOMBOY at the DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Dad is rolling. Little weekly dumb. People in the chat wondering, am I Jimmy G? Saw a lot of that yesterday on the internet. Weird stuff. BBD, how are you, my good man?
Jake, I'm doing well. I spent most of my day not in New York, so I didn't get in on all the action until I got home pretty much right in time for tie bowl. I was like, well, let's play some cheddar on the tie.
Sure.
It's a pretty good return, and it's as likely to happen on purpose as it's ever going to be.
Yeah.
And there was a time like pretty far into it when they went up by a couple scores, and I was like, all right, I guess they're not going to do the tie thing. Let's see if I should cash out. It's like, all right, I'd get $2 back on a $20 bet. I'll just let it go. And then it got close again, and I was like, But I had fun.
I'm glad you had fun. Yeah, the tie game, and I think it was more so me.
I guess a good amount of that I was in New Jersey, so I could have done more stuff.
Sure.
Just got to New York.
I had totally forgotten about the tie stuff. Cause like I was rooting for the Chargers comeback because I really like Herbert, and I was tweeting that out. I tweeted out my Herbert Debo thing, and again, Niner fans and some people didn't get it. I shouldn't say some people didn't get it. It's people on the internet that don't have their picture in their profile, and they're like, New York. They think New York's the only thing that matters. It's just a fact. If Justin Herbert was a Giant or a Jet, he would be a star of the world. Like same with Debo. Never mind even New York or New Jersey. Like, think about how big RG3 was.
Yeah, just East Coast.
Like, Herbert should be that. I'm trying to say it as a compliment to Herbert. And how awesome is Debo? Debo's, like, the coolest player in the NFL. So I get where your kind of rooted angst is coming from. But they should be beloved more. All right. So let's reset the engine. Just a little bit, because we are Cron Pod. So let's go back to the top and just check some boxes along the way. Chiefs, Broncos. My horsies pretended to give them a game. Chiefs win 12-5. And by the way, how about that Titans scare yesterday? That was fun. We'll get there. Cowboys roll on the Eagles. Everyone put it together so slowly that it didn't matter. Hurts didn't even play that game. And everyone was like, oh. Cowboys finished 12-5. Good for them, man. Good for them. So that brings us to Sunday. Browns-Bengals didn't matter. Burrow didn't play. Mayfield didn't play, but that was a good thing for the Browns. They get another win. They finish 8-9. Again, I've seen everyone giving the Browns a ton of crap. Mayfield clearly played hurt all year, which, hey, you've heard me critique Garrett Cole for pitching in the Yankees wildcard game hurt to the point it didn't benefit his team. At some point, the Browns or Baker needed to step in and do something. That being said, like that whole division, Bengals, Browns, Steelers, Ravens, look where we ended up yesterday. Like, it's just a mess. And again, like, Browns, you're a year and a half removed from being the Jets or the Giants. So, like,
from 1-31 in a 2-year period.
The fact 8-9 is a disappointment, we're still doing okay. We're still doing okay. I know Browns fans don't want to hear that, but let's be honest. Lions, Packers, ton of fun. Why are Rodgers and Devontae playing? Because they want to set some records. Devontae breaks the Packers receiving record for a season. Past Jordy Nelson. How good was Jordy Nelson? Lions are running trick plays. They get a win. If they lost, they would have got the 1 pick. I think that would have mattered if there was a consensus quarterback number 1, but there wasn't. And maybe that's why the Jags and Lions were playing hard on the last week. Actually, Jags, I still can't really fucking explain. But Lions, as always, they had fun with it. Trick plays. They win down the stretch. Again, we relived this Lions schedule a bunch of times. They could have easily been a 5-win team. Justin Tucker hit that longest field goal in NFL history to win the game. Like, it
could have easily been 5 wins.
By the way, their tie is against the Steelers, who are now in the playoffs, and I will drink so many tears on Thursday. Not doing that now. Lions won. Vikings, Bears, no. Andy Dalton versus Kirk Cousins in a game that doesn't matter? That's a rude one. Not as rude as Washington and the Giants. I think in the comment of the day, we're going to circle up on that show because I said last time, it's rude if someone gave you tickets to that game. And it was. Joe Judge and the QB sneaks when your season's already over. I don't know how to explain it perfectly, but I'll try my best. Belichick assistants, and I think he's got some crazy record. It's similar to Saban when they play their assistants. We saw all these Belichick assistants try to be Bill Belichick, and it didn't work for them. I think Rabel's the first one. I don't know. Was Rabel ever an assistant for Belichick? Can you check that?
I don't think he
he
ever
played
coached
years
under
for
him.
them, so it's a little tricky.
I think everyone always talks about how he's like he's like not a real exception.
Brian Flores, which that's a whole nother story. Belichick does stuff on a football field that kind of is genius. Like, there's no other way to talk about it. Like, Brady's awesome, all-time best quarterback.
According to his Wikipedia, he was linebackers coach at Ohio State, then linebackers coach with the Texans, and then he got the Titans job.
Wow. There's obviously a Belichick effect there.
He had a defensive coordinator stint with the Texans as well.
Gotcha.
Why that's on its own paragraph is crazy.
That Joe Judge back-to-back QB sneaks out of your end zone is the definition of something Belichick does, but it would be they saw something with the defense, and they got a significant chunk of yards, and it sets up something else. Like, there's more to it than just getting away from your own end zone. Never mind your season being over, and who cares? If you do a shotgun throw and you get sacked in the end zone for the safety, who cares? You tried.
Like, the whole Joe Judge thing is supposed to be like the attitude and culture and effort. Like, even like Ian O'Connor had the tweet. Like, even the people who was recently as 2 weeks ago were like, "Yeah, you can get a third year." Like, after the last 2 weeks,
right?
It's like that's all.
Why?
Like, now everything that you would have said is like a reason. Like, all right, we can do a third. You can't now.
And I can get you better head coaches. I can.
At least one just became available.
I can. Jaguars, Colts, we already talked about that. I mean, my goodness, mention my QB rankings. What does this one game do to Carson Wentz? And by the way, Indy, Frank Reich, who's a well-respected head coach. Jonathan Taylor, remember when he was your lead for the MVP? I just don't know. I don't know how you could suit it up for one game knowing you win and you're in against one of the worst teams to do it. And maybe it was just they thought the Jags were going to roll over, and they got the opposite in that. And kudos to the Jacksonville interim coach. I'll look up his name because I don't have it. Jacksonville interim coach. Was it Darrell Bevell? How about that? Remember that name from Seahawks lore. And I was trying to think about this. I was like, how do you motivate guys? Just how after that Jaguars season? And the best thing I had was for Trevor Lawrence, I think I would have told him, like, hey, man, last game of your rookie year, and you can kind of change the narrative with one game. And did he not? He kind of did. After one of the worst rookie seasons you'll see a quarterback have, I think everyone's buying Trevor Lawrence stock right now. And then I think you tell the rest of the team, like, hey, I know this season's over. You got one more game. You're all going to go to your offseason afterwards. But why not win it and have a fucking party? And I think that's what they said. Their fans were wearing clown masks in the stadium. And they beat up on the Colts. I don't know. If you're the Colts, I just don't know what you do. Carson Wentz, I know people were posting about their trade with the Eagles because they took on a massive contract with Wentz. They got draft picks back. It's just tough. It's tough to bring. I don't know what you do with Carson Wentz because his value is obviously at an all-time low, so if you move on from him, that seems like a mistake. But how can you kind of bring him back to that locker room after that game? So Colts, at the same time, thank you. And thank you, Jaguars, for making yesterday so fun because otherwise so much stuff would not have mattered. Steelers, Ravens, I mean, in a way felt like every Steelers-Ravens game ever, just with like less talent. Lamar was out. Big Ben, some of his throws just look oddly old. Although down the stretch he made plays. Like I know people like to joke about Big Sven. They do just enough. They get the touchdown pass in the fourth, and then they get the field goal in OT. Sets them up for the playoffs. Titans were up 21-0 over the Texans, and you're like, well, yeah, 4-12 Texans. They're going to roll over and die. Davis Mills, man, that kid showed some stones. He will be on the quarterback ranking chart. He finishes with 303 touchdowns, basically passing every play. Danny Amendola from the grave. Sandino the Great is great. And, man, they had the Texans. They had one play. They had Tannehill wrapped up. And, again, this would have messed up the whole one seed in the AFC. The Chiefs would have gotten it. This disaster Chiefs season. They could have ended up in the one seed. Tannehill, he's in the grasp. He wriggles out of it. He kind of gets thrown out of it. He makes a big throw for a first down. That kind of saved the Titans' momentum and juice. They won 28-25 in what was scary. Saints-Falcons, I'll be honest, didn't really watch. Taysom gets hurt. Simeon comes in, but they kind of dominated this game, and they're on their way to the playoffs. Bills-Jets, just don't care. I saw someone in the chat ask Josh Allen or Herbert. I mean, it's kind of ice cream flavors. You can pick yours. I'm a Herbert guy, and I'll tell that a little more when we get back to that game. Niners-Rams, I don't know what you do. If you're McVay and you're the wonderkin and you just can't beat Shanahan and this team in your division, you're up 17-3. Man, and the Niners are now in the playoffs. They are kind of the new Colts. They're kind of the new, they're a really good team. I wouldn't want to play them. We'll see. I think they're playing in Dallas, which Dallas, sexy football team right now. Talk more of that on Thursday. Dolphins kind of beat up on the Patriots, which was like, wow, Dolphins, Tua, they really saved their season. Brian Flores, the team really likes him. They rally around him. That story's changed as he got fired, if you don't know why I've been giggling about that for the last little bit. The surprising fire from today, everyone thinks it's tied to Harbaugh. We'll see, I guess, but man.
And their owner keeps talking about how it isn't Harbaugh. It's just like, yeah.
Which is just so fun. We'll see what actually happens.
I'm not going to be the person that'll take him away from Michigan, I think is a quote that just came out. I might be
And let's be honest,
not exactly saying it right.
When stuff like this actually happens, like we see quotes like that, and then when it happens, we're like, oh, they said they weren't gonna. And then if they do, like, nobody really cares. You're just like, they said they weren't.
Say, well, you got to say that.
Yeah. Kind of good for Tua and the Dolphins, but this morning it doesn't. We'll see what they do head coaching-wise. But, yeah, if you're a Giants fan and you're watching Brian Flores get fired from that Dolphins gig, which, by the way, was a shit gig. Remember, they were, like, fully rebuilding? Tank for Tua. That was a thing. If I'm a Giants fan, I don't know if Flores even wants the job. But if I'm a Giants fan and I'm saying hold on to Joe Judge or we can go get Brian Flores, it's not a conversation. It's just not.
He seems like the guy who'd be the perfect fit for the Giants' current situation.
Like, you need to clean house and change the whole energy of the franchise, and that's who Brian Flores is. Seahawks Cardinals, this game, Rashad Penny, how's your end to the season? He goes for 190 and a touchdown. Looks like a thick king when he's running and he gets free. It's really awesome. Cardinals, I just don't know what to do with you. I have no idea. They lose 4 of their last 5. Rams, Lions, Colts, Seahawks. The game they won was at Dallas a week ago, so I don't really know what you even do with that. This team lost to the Panthers 34-10. Was that Cam's first game? That was. Cam's first game, the Panthers were 5-5. They beat the 5-4. They were 4-5. They beat the 8-1 Cardinals. Cardinals, I don't even know what to do. Kyler looks healthier, and he's playing better. But, I mean, they've been like a horrific watch the past few weeks. Horrific watch. Bucks roll on the Panthers. Yeah. Grab Bucks -8 on Friday. Free money. Whoops. And then the Raiders-Chargers game, which I'm sure a lot of you, if you're listening to this, you probably watched. All the story around it, all the tweets, everything. Raiders looked pretty strong early on. They've got a weird... Just a team you're nervous to play. Like, Carr is Carr. You kind of know what you're going to get. He's not, like, scared to throw it. Like, hey, again, QB rankings, which I think we'll do that week before the Super Bowl. Like, Carr and Carson Wentz? Is that even a conversation right now? I mean,
especially not after this week.
Those guys feel like they're in different realms. I think people would be shocked when you write down the NFL quarterbacks, and it's why I want to do the exercise. You'll be shocked how high Derek Carr lands. I think top 15 is a lock. I think there's an argument for, like, top 12.
Probably, like he'd end up on a lot of people's top 10.
Let me see my practice
like a lot,
list.
Maybe not most, but a lot.
Let me see my practice list. I think 10 was tough, but let me see.
There's like arguments for it if you like them.
Yeah, I mean I'll tease it. Cousins, Carr, Tannehill are all interesting conversations. They're kind of their own tier. Again, we'll get to that fully another time. Raiders have some skills, guys. And by the way, so Herbert, Josh Allen that got mentioned before. If you watch this game, which a lot of you probably did, at a certain point, Herbert's dropping back every time to pass. Which, if you know the NFL, one of the hardest things to do is drop back and pass every time. And that's part of the reason I love Herbert. Because when an NFL D-line is coming for you, you're kind of fucked. And when the secondary knows you're going to pass, you're kind of... A lot of cursing today. How about it? Passionate. Big day. Max Crosby was in Herbert's grill. Every play. It was like, I felt bad for the right tackle. And by the way, Staley, who's getting crushed today, and deservedly so, he's a full analytics guy. I think my new comparison is he's kind of the NFL's, why am I blanking on? I just had a really weird thing. Chip Kelly. Although Chip Kelly came to the NFL and it didn't work. It's all analytics and, going for it on fourth down at your own 19, yada, yada, yada. I think the old NFL adage that would be, the equivalent to baseball stuff or contact or runners on third or something that's not getting mentioned, your defense needs to rest. And I think that was kind of Chip Kelly's fatal flaw for a while. Anyways, Herbert, he led his team back from 2 scores down in a do-or-die game. I think they got a little bit of help from the refs. Who knows? Funkel Raj got involved at all. That last drive was chaos. I think it was 18 plays. Herbert's getting popped. But some of those throws, man, were awesome. Just awesome. Threading the needle. There was one replay. I'll have to find it in the box score. Maybe I'll have Robbie Scirocco make a clip of it. The analyst broke it down really well. They had 2 receivers kind of running the same route. I guess if you're talking Madden, it's kind of if you ran a slant from both sides of the field. And I guess there's something good NFL quarterbacks can do where if you throw to that second receiver, there is a window because it's everyone chasing the first guy. And the pass Herbert made was gross. was gross. He's incredible. And by the way, Max Crosby, if I said that name too casual for you before, go look up him and his story. I think he had problems with alcohol. He's over those, and he's one of the best defensive players in the NFL. If you watched every snap from that game, you'd walk away and say, like, this guy looks like an all-time great. So with all that being said, overtime, field goal off. Satya. By the way, Raiders had a chance to ice it, and they went back-to-back Mariota, which, hey, everything I just said about Carr being a top 13, 15 quarterback, I know Mariota's your short-running QB guy, and you've got sets with him, and you practice it and execution in the NFL, but my God, if you had lost that game, you're going to look back at that and say, wait, did we run Mariota out there with a chance to ice the game? Back-to-back plays? The second play was that sweep to Renfro where he got popped and kind of that gave the ball back. So, a really fun NFL Sunday. I mean, thank you to the Jaguars and the Colts for setting it all up. The playoffs are set. We can set it up for you a little bit. I mean, it's not like we're going to...
Thursday will be the bigger day.
Yeah, Thursday will be a dive, and we'll pick some games. Saturday, Raiders at Bengals. And by the way, that was some of the tie stuff. I think if the Raiders tied, they would have had to play the Chiefs, who the Chiefs had rolled on them this year. So there's another reason for them to win. Raiders at Bengals. Yeah, that'll be fun. Patriots at Bills. Saturday night, two fan bases that aren't happy with each other. Both home teams lost. The Bills lost the win game. They got their redemption in New England. New England, which was so sexy for a little while, feels like they've lost a little bit of their juice. Gonna be tough. Belichick, McDermott. It's going to be tough to bet against the Pats. Big game for the Bills and Josh Allen. And, hey, by the way, we've talked about these young quarterback matchups. Josh Allen and Mac Jones, right? Like, if we're talking about Herbert and Burrow, like, division, young guys seem to be set up there.
Seem like they'll get a nice run here.
So that should be a good Saturday. I just mentally went to if I have to do things this weekend. I don't think so. We'll see.
I'm in the clear.
So that's huge. Sunday, Eagles, Bucks. Hey, Eagles surprise us. Run a couple plays. You've had a nice year. Huge win for the Bucks. We've talked about the NFC elite teams. The Eagles are just on a different tier, and I don't think that's unfair to the Eagles. Like, I think Eagles fans would be pretty honest about that.
Under the new format, at least one team that shouldn't be a playoff team gets in.
Yeah.
Eagles pretty clearly are that team.
Eagles Bucks. Yeah. Niners Cowboys. Niners Cowboys. This is the Nickelodeon game, so that's always fun. Cowboys, Nickelodeon game. I think there's something there. Cowboys and Niners. Let's brainwash another generation, babe. Man, this is where I've been tough on the Niners all year. I was low-key rooting for them to not make the playoffs because none of us had them in the playoffs in our preseason predictions. Everyone was mean. Niners were McVay and the Rams' fourth quarter drive away from not being in the playoffs, so I'm not mad about it. But yeah, good team's going to get eliminated in this game. Cowboys at home. McCarthy, who's not viewed as a NFL guru of kind of anything, versus Shanahan, who is. Very interested to see the results of that game. I mean, if you're the Cowboys and you lose that game at home, people are going to be loud. NFC East, all of it. Niners probably in one of the toughest divisions. That's going to be interesting. No early read on that. get it for Thursday. Steelers, Chiefs, man, hey. Big Ben's last game. Maybe Sunday night in Kansas City. I'll tell you what, the TJ Watt stuff is awesome. He set the NFL sack record in this game. He missed a bunch of games this year. Insane. The Chiefs routed the Steelers earlier this year, 36-10, 2 weeks ago. Whoops. I don't know. Hope for TJ Watt to create chaos. Hope that Big Ben, Tomlin, Najee Harris, they got something up their sleeves. You guys know I've been on the Chiefs bandwagon. If the Steelers do something, I don't know. Jags did something. It's a whole NFL season, right?
One game.
And then Cardinals at the Rams on Monday. So NFL, man. Talk about a business. Cardinals, Rams, Monday night. How's that even work for the rest of the playoffs? Will they play another?
Do Monday night? Like even wild card week?
So I guess, quick math, the 5 and the 4 game, that team is most likely to play the 1 seed, right? Because it would be
In
1 versus
theory,
4 or 5, right? NFL still does the reseeding, right?
Yeah, they reset.
That's kind of cool. It's tough to keep track of.
Several games matter,
but it's kind of cool. I don't have an official stance on that yet. Do I like that?
I think I do. People want it in the other sports.
MLB doesn't reseed.
No.
It's an interesting concept. Because you're rewarding the good teams, and I normally root for that.
Yeah. Like NBA, I think it makes a little more sense. But again, it's like a bigger playoffs situation. I guess MLB playoffs are about to get bigger.
Yeah.
And the labor stuff, I mean, the players have proposed a 12-team thing. So if the players are proposing that, then we're getting at least that.
I feel like NBA could be tough because
I guess sometimes they like to just get the series started
the
if
way
they're
they
ready to go.
Yeah, that's true. And the way they treat their regular season, like I feel like we're seeing a lot of these super teams that don't care too much about the regular season. So now you could be fucking over one of the high seeds if you're like, oh, here's the 7 seed Lakers instead of the 5 seed Grizzlies or something like that. Example, none of that's real. Rams, Cardinals. Hey, this is where I have the Rams as kind of a winner for losing that Niners game. How could you not be jazzed up to play the Cardinals right now? I mean, look at the 3, 5, and so Rams are the 4 around them. Cowboys, Niners, Cardinals. I mean, I don't know who you want to play out of the Cowboys and the Niners. You probably would rather play the Niners than the Cowboys, just by a nose. Dak. He can beat you a lot easier than Jimmy G. Cowboys are super talented.
The Cowboys are on there.
CeeDee Lamb.
Like as good as anybody.
Amari Cooper, Zeke, Pollard, their defense. Micah Parsons, Diggs. Like, yeah. So you'd rather play the Niners over the Cowboys. The Cardinals, my God. Lost 4 out of 5. They just don't feel like that team that started out 7-0, 8-0. I mean, I bet you could dice up Kyler Murray's stats. That's like, whoa. He has just not been the same guy. The team around him hasn't been the same guy. We've mentioned Nuke Hopkins a couple times.
I guess.
Maybe it's that.
They've been saying he's supposed to be back for the playoffs. Don't know if we have updates there. But he sat out the last 3 regular season games after re-injuring himself.
And by the way, should have been said earlier, and it kind of was. Green Bay, they got the 1 seed that was already locked up. Yeah, I mean, have fun with them in Lambeau off a bye week. I doubt Rodgers and Adams look rusty. Those guys look pretty good together.
And as is, Rodgers was a little banged up all year with the foot stuff, so he gets. I feel like a week off benefits them probably more than any other team.
There's sometimes the rest versus rust, which I know gets silly now and people like to make fun of. Packers, Rodgers, no.
In football, I don't buy it.
That being said, it's NFL a little bit, and let's watch the Packers in 2 weeks have a terrible first half. Titans. Now that's where things get really interesting because Derrick Henry supposedly got activated this week. He didn't play, but I think it's like NFL roster stuff. That with the bye week, I mean, Derrick Henry's going to be dressed for that playoff game. I don't know if you give him the pill 25 times. Maybe you do. The guy's a freak.
Maybe he's only at like 65% of his normal workload or something.
But even if you're the other team and you got to worry about that guy. And by the way, Dante Foreman's been really good for Tennessee. Yeah. He was like my proudest FA pickup. I picked him up in every league this year.
Wow.
Because I remembered him being kind of good in Texas. Took a chance. Worked out.
I didn't realize the storyline that was happening.
Lost every league.
But if you told me Titans were missing Derrick Henry over half the year and Julio Jones wouldn't get his first touchdown of the year until kind of garbage time, week 18. I guess it was sort of it locked it in, so it mattered.
A.J. Brown was out for a while this year.
Missed a lot of time, and they get the number 1 seed, and it kind of wasn't. I mean, it wasn't locked in until this week, but kind of wasn't that interesting.
Tannehill, man, it's an interesting one. And Rabel as a head coach, dude. I know we've done it the past few weeks, but the Tennessee Titans are the 1 seed in the AFC with Derrick Henry out half the year. I mean, even with just that fact, nobody would have said the Titans are the 1.
Yeah. They picked up Julio Jones, and he missed some weeks, and A.J. Brown missed several weeks. And just did the touchdown thing.
I will.
I can't off the top of my head name somebody on their defense right now, but I know they have a good one.
Do they have a McCourty or both on New England now? I know there's one on New England. Yeah. Man, interested to see who Tennessee is going to get in that reseeding second-round game. That's going to be interesting. Let's get them New England.
Could so easily be New England.
Yeah. So there's your NFL playoff bracket. On Thursday, we'll have Bobby Skins on. We'll talk about the weekend's game, and maybe we'll fill out playoff brackets. Have you guys do it. Evan Phillips saying that Rabel deserves Coach of the Year. I'm not going to fight you on it. I think people were saying there's a couple guys that could potentially get it. I guess the Bengals head coach has an argument. They were saying the Raiders head coach, Bisaccia, but I mean, it was half the year, and he saved a disaster situation, which does deserve a lot of love, but I don't think you can put that over Rabel.
It's the same as when we do MVP conversation, didn't do enough to be valuable.
Yeah.
The most valuable. And they could do some Packers stuff because they were kind of the runaway team of the regular season. I think people who the one Bengals fan I follow on Twitter and see stuff, I think they don't like Zach Taylor.
It's interesting.
So I have no idea what the details of that are, but I think the vibe they don't like.
I'll tell you after this playoff game. That's kind of a fun game to play and maybe wrap this up. Titans, even whoever they get in the next game, if they lose, I think they're still fine with Rabel. Tomlin, he's good. Andy Reid and the Chiefs, pretty much good. I think they'd be this season's been super disappointing. I guess if they lost to the Steelers, everyone would be like, Andy, what the fuck happened?
He'd still be back next year unless he doesn't want to.
Wow. Oh, I mean, he's safe, but it's just fans.
Yeah. It's just that next year it's you can't do this vibe again.
I guess I'm doing fans' happiness with coaches, depending what happens. Rabel, I think he's good no matter what. Tomlin's good.
Be noise?
Tomlin's good no matter what. Reed, people would be pissy, but he's kind of good. He's good. He's good, right?
He's good, right?
Belichick, yeah. McDermott and the Bills, that's an interesting one. If they lose to the Patriots at home,
I think it'd have to be a kind of a beatdown.
Yeah, they'd have to get. I don't know.
Maybe I think
Bills fans thought this was their year. Bills fans thought this was their year. Raiders and Bisaccia, they're fine. Bengals and Zach Taylor, I think very much is going to be decided by that playoff game. In the NFC, Packers, that's kind of interesting because it's all Rodgers, and if they lose early, Rodgers is probably definitely out of town, and then we find out who LaFleur really is. Arians, fine and happy, Bucks up. Sirianni and the Eagles, they're fine. Niners and Shanahan, I know there was some smoke there, but I feel like everyone kind of loves Shanahan. McCarthy and the Cowboys, that could get a little loud. Kingsbury, if this season fully eats shit. And then McVay. Okay, so I don't know. That was just an interesting, weird way that I wanted to look at things. So I did that. The residual of this, as we start talking coaches, Bears fire Nagy. Shocker. Go look up the NFL draft room pick of Nagy during the COVID times. Basically covered his wall and stuff. It was very serial killer. I think he thought it was cool. Not cool. GM Pace out for the Bears as well. So we're going to see a new GM head coach combo there. Man, Brian Flores fired. I know it's like the third time we've mentioned it now. Dolphins, they won 8 of their last 9 to finish the season. You got to think Tua's not fully in on him. Because they like Tua. We don't fully know because there was all the Deshaun Watson stuff.
The one like thing I saw, I don't know if it was one of the Talking Giants guys. I don't want to put it on them if it wasn't them.
Sure.
It was like the only thing I can think of is he like loudly doesn't want Deshaun Watson, and their owner seems to really want him. But
yeah,
that's the only thing that would like make sense after the way they ended this season, and like the vibe around that team the last few years has been. And I think I
saw a tweet from Rappaport or someone that said Deshaun liked Flores, and that was part of the Miami. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know.
I have no idea.
It's rumor mill season in Miami. We'll see what happens. There's so much Harbaugh smoke that the owner's saying no Harbaugh. As a sports fan, you've kind of trained yourself to be like, okay, so Harbaugh's going there.
So, I think every team that just made a firing, all their fans are telling themselves it's Harbaugh.
Yeah. Vikings out with Mike Zimmer. I sat here and I said I didn't love it because I think Mike Zimmer's so well respected as an NFL head coach. At the same time, I'm very much a sports fan enough that if a change of voice is needed, a change of voice is needed. Would he be interested in the Giants job? I don't know. That could be interesting. At least he's got a resume you kind of have to respect as an NFL head coach. Again, he could turn down the Giants job. Like that could not be a G-men thing. Yeah, I wonder. I mean, if Joe Judge keeps his job, I don't know. I don't know if you can do that, man. Pete Carroll is still expected to coach the Seahawks next year. Did Carroll say that? Yes, Pete Carroll said that. So I wouldn't fully report that. We'll see what happens. What else around the league? I guess we'll see if the Texans do anything. I mean, that team fought for no reason. And you're going to find out what Davis Mill happens last year. My Denver Broncos, they fired Vic Fangio. I tweeted it out. The Denver Broncos, man, look at who their quarterbacks have been. And Vic Fangio, I think his biggest penalty is that he's a decent coach. The Broncos, they were 7-6 this year with Teddy Bridgewater. He gets hurt, and they lose out. Like, say the Broncos are like, we love Brian Flores. He's obviously different than Vic Fangio, but is he? He's like a defensive-minded head coach. The guys rallied and play for him. The Broncos were playing hard for Fangio in that last game. They almost beat the Chiefs. Well, would that have really changed things? It shouldn't have. They had a meeting before the game. And again, go back to the quarterbacks. Mahomes. Some people argue he's like the best to ever do it. Huge. Herbert. You've heard me drool over him. Raiders. Carr. Again, sneaky top 13, 15 quarterback probably. Broncos. Know who Fangio's first quarterback was? Flacco.
Mm.
Then Drew Lock. Brandon Allen got some starts. Drew Lock again this year. They started the game when they didn't have a quarterback, Kendall Hinton.
Huh.
That's one of his games on his record. Like, I just don't know what you expect. So to put that on Fangio, I get it. I kind of get it. In the Broncos, they do have a really good history of success before these past 5-6 years or whatever. But what do you really expect without a quarterback? Teddy Bridgewater's your best guy? And like you guys saw me come around on Teddy a little bit, but still, where's he on the quarterback list? Top 20 maybe?
I was going to say, like, does he end up around 20?
I mean, you know, I really want to play this game, and we will. I'll stop teasing it, but, you know, Bridgewater, Jimmy G. Bridgewater, Jared Goff. Matt Ryan for a game/season. Jameis. Wentz. Tua. Hurts. After what Hurts did this year, it's tough to take Teddy over. I don't know. So, yeah, I mean, Fangio, I know Bobby was hitting me up, and he really wants the Giants to get him. If he is a D coordinator somewhere, I think he's going to be nasty. But, yeah, I think one of the NBC people in the booth were like, if the Broncos traded for Rodgers this year, Fangio's probably the coach of the year. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts there in Aaron Rodgers. People argue he's the best ever
Changing
do
the
it,
quarterback
too.
of the team.
I guess that's my point. I mean, if you gave the Broncos Derek Carr, if you gave the Broncos Kirk Cousins, if you gave the Broncos Goff this year, I don't know if we're not talking about a Broncos playoff team. So, I don't know. Broncos fans were they were like, he has to go, because I think they're so used to success that they blame it on the head coach. But look at the quarterback. I mean, I don't know.
I guess age can be a factor. It doesn't seem to be as big a concern in football, and it's kind of fallen out of favor in baseball getting the young coaches, but he is older. I'm sure he's among the oldest coaches. He's 63.
The only thing we talk about behind the scenes and how the Dolphins are talking about Harbaugh, so apparently there's conversations that have happened somewhere that have made those real rumors. If Rodgers does leave Green Bay, if Russ is leaving, if Deshaun Watson, whatever that is, gets figured out, if you can get one of those guys interested in your team and they can pick their head coach, I get that. I don't know if that's a situation. I don't. So, a little disappointed in that. Denver, people still really like their roster. I like their roster, except quarterback. That's where, I don't know if Fields is the answer in Chicago. His stats don't end up looking great, but like I would have liked to see him surrounded by Denver's talent and find out this QB draft isn't supposed to be good. Did the Broncos make a move for Matt Ryan?
Supposedly, Falcons are going to run it back with him, and that's also a little bit what you just say at the end of the year.
And guess what? Yeah, they're probably going to run it back with Matt Ryan. Because at least Matt Ryan's going to make quarterback plays when you need him. So, there's Jakey's Broncos. We'll see if any other head coaching jobs open up. I think Seahawks, Giants are the only ones really in play. Maybe if McDermott got embarrassed at the party or something there.
Yeah, hard to imagine the other coaches. Yeah. I think everyone else is probably in the clear.
So, what an NFL weekend it really was. Again, came out of left field. And I guess BBD, mark it down, because I said funny business season, because we were scared of Tygate, and said, hey, if you're the NFL, why don't you put a little fix in Indy and make sure Indy dominates that game so Tygate doesn't become a thing. Instead, NFL was as hot as the streets as it's been. So we'll just pocket that for next year. Just pocket it. A good week for the NFL. We'll preview the games this weekend, the playoffs. Me, BBD, and Bobo. We'll go check on our preseason predictions and yell at some of you guys. I liked a couple Instagram comments the other day. Wasn't proud of that. I'll get back into the old tweets. It's whatever. It's whatever. People were out for blood. People were so mad I had the Steelers in the playoffs. Organizations matter. Look at the Chargers. Look at the Steelers. I don't know why the story ends up the same every year. But if the Chargers roster was the Steelers, I think they're a 12-win football team. If the Steelers roster was the Chargers, I think they're a 4-win football team. And that's just like, that's sports. 5. Organizations matter. Organizations matter. Never believed in that more. Beebs, let's keep it rolling. What a day. What an ep. We will go to the comment of the day. Bakers, I ask you guys to leave a comment, hit the like button on the YouTube, share with a friend. Last episode, another episode do, and all my ladies have been giving it up. Last episode, we were talking about the playoff scenarios a little bit. We were waking, we were caking. J-Rob Central, at the beginning of the season, I asked you guys who your Super Bowl teams were. You said Chiefs and Bucks. Has that changed coming in the playoffs? I think I got to save that. I think that's got to be a Thursday thing. Bruce, anybody who says I'm definitely drinking the Raiders Kool-Aid is not a Broncos fan. It's for the season, Bruce. Let's go. Hey, I want Broncos Kool-Aid, but it's just not good Kool-Aid right now. Connor Green said if the Chargers can beat the Raiders, I think they have a chance to do some serious damage. Good news, bad news. No. Eckler's awesome, by the way. He deserves some more love. Second in the NFL in touchdowns this year.
Yeah, he's just good.
He's awesome. Listed 5'10", by the way. Nope. My 5'8" king. Clean shave. Like that.
And he was a guy, like I think when Gordon was still there,
yeah,
he was behind him. It's like, would this really work?
Yeah, he's
just actually good.
He seemed like the third down guy that it was like, all right.
Third down guy. It's like, he's a pretty good backup. If when Gordon's out, you can fill him in and he's adequate for a game. No, he's just good. And he catches well.
He's nasty. Drake Souza. Jake's Jags. People are talking. Yes, the internet very much made that a thing this weekend. People are still talking about that. Let's see. Homeless Jesse says, always thought the Jets were a laughingstock in the AFC during the Marino years. Now the Dolphins have joined that club. Whoa. 3 days ago, they beat the Pats, fired their head coach. You're kind of right, Homeless Jesse. And then I thought there was one more I wanted to hit. I guess let's go Rams. I miss baseball. That's a hilarious comment from Soton Lunaris. So, thank you guys. Thank you. The sports, man. What a weekend for it. What a weekend. So thank you guys. Bro of the night, where we like to talk about somebody that deserves to be talked about. I don't know if I'm jumping in the way of my guy BBD here. If I am, I'm sorry. Could just give it to Eckler. And I'm going to go to Klay in BBD's NBA. Klay Thompson came back. Pretty cool. First time playing the shooty hoop since summer of 19, right?
Yeah, like that 2019
June of
finals.
19, I think,
Raptors.
Which is crazy. And I think a lot of people, so I won't try to wax poetic as others have, but picture how much you love basketball or love anything in your life, and then picture how much Klay loves basketball and who he is and his career, and that's just gone for 2 years. Nightmare, man. And he comes back last night. The crowd's going nuts. Golden State was kind of known for having a nuts crowd before as this whole team was forming. They've still been. They showed it again last night. Klay with the nasty dunk. Little crossover, gets to the rim, throws it down. And by the way, organizations, I was thinking, watching the Klay dunk, I had this weird thought of, am I going to be freaked out by this? Coming off an injury, he's going up for it, and, he lands. The first time I watched it, it was kind of watching how he lands, a little nervous. Golden State, I think everyone can agree, pretty well-run organization. And, yeah, I guess I kind of had this moment of, Klay wouldn't be back if Klay shouldn't be back.
He wasn't ready.
I think there's a lot of organizations where I don't know if that's the answer. Obviously, they have the perks of having a crazy talented team, and playoffs aren't in doubt. But man, the Warriors have been nasty this year, and now Klay's back. And Klay's super cool. It's gonna be so interesting to see how Klay gets remembered over time. 'Cause man, he's nasty. It's one of those, we do it. Obviously, it's been done with Pippen forever. And I think we talked about it early Wake and Jake days, but, it would have been pretty badass to see him be the one year and just see what it looks like.
Yeah, what is that?
If, picture Ray Allen on the Bucks or something like that. It just would have been interesting to see. Otherwise, he's nasty, silly personality. Picture of him playing Bino just leaked, so... I'll give it to Klay.
It's been on their site a little bit. Bino's site.
West Coast.
Yeah, Warriors 30-9 after yesterday, tied for the best record in the NBA.
Oops.
Just got Klay back.
Kerr, not bad. Who you got, Beebs?
I think I'm gonna go to Mike Williams.
Ooh, okay.
He obviously
like that.
Herbert's getting a little bit of the shine for those fourth down plays, and he's obviously the quarterback, and he's been awesome the last 2 years. Those are Mike Williams' catches, and on the day, 119 yards and a TD. He had a couple of those fourth down catches, and they were not easy grabs. He goes big body up, going down to the ground. A couple near the sideline plays. That dude's good.
He is really good, and
he's a little bit of a fantasy trick play a couple years ago, but he's just he's just actually good again.
So
the Chargers guy.
2017 NFL Draft, Myles Garrett's the first pick, Trubisky, Solomon Thomas, Fournette, Corey Davis for the Titans, Jamal Adams for the Jets, Mike Williams, he was the 7th pick, McCaffrey was 8, so I think there was originally some critique over that. John Ross was 9. I mean, he's borderline out of the league / the Giants. I think there was some second round. Zay Jones, Curtis Samuel.
Dalvin Cook in the second.
Dalvin. I thought there was more wide receivers in this draft. Juju, what's his career been about? Cooper Kupp in the 3rd round. I think Mike Williams was kind of viewed as a bust for a little bit. Godwin later in that draft. Kenny Galladay, oh boy. But yeah, man, he's kind of nasty. He's nasty. Him and Herbert are a legit connection. He's a beast, 6'4". Clemson guy. I was just about to read his Clemson stats, that matters. Yeah, Mike Williams.
I'm a sucker for the big wide receivers, too.
Sure are.
A lot of Plaxico.
Ooh. How's he doing? Plaxico is nasty.
Yeah.
Shot himself. All right, people. I have to use the bathroom pretty badly, so I might do that. I hope you guys enjoy your week. I hope you enjoy it with us at Wormboy Media. You've already heard so much about our Thursday show. Talking baseball. How about that? Trevor Floof. Heard of him? Talking Yanks, JJTV, some watching plans. Rose Rotation, who's he got? Alex Wood.
Alex Wood today.
Alex Wood from San Francisco. Talking Knicks, hello. Mixtape. Talking Giants, a finale to the season. Pinstripe Strong, my guys. Love me some McFly boys. The video games, our gaming's out of control.
Farm to Fame.
Farm to Fame. Go check all of it out. Love you guys. Love you guys. Love.